Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, Chris the Dom One, and I'm back with another video. You know what you got to do: rate, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll know when my next video or live stream goes down. Now, I got all those credentials out of the way. Let's get into today's story. Not gonna be on here much longer, okay? And first of all, before I go in, all right. First, I like to give Magic a lot of props as a Hall of Fame basketball player, as an entrepreneur, a very successful businessman, a leader among leaders. Magic Johnson has done more for not only the NBA but the universe of basketball as we know it. He revolutionized the point guard position. He was LeBron James before LeBron James. He played multiple positions. Okay, but as a front office executive, as far as president of basketball operations, and I've been saying it, I'm going to say it again, he's god awful in that type of platform as president of basketball operations. And one of the reasons he's awful is, one, he doesn't want to do the due diligence as far as scouting, as far as being in the office, as far as a vision, a plan, as far as recruiting, as far as taking opportunities as far as improving the roster, improving the organization. And this story is coming from BleacherReport.com. It's everywhere, plastered all over social media. How basically Magic Johnson got in the way of not only the Los Angeles Lakers, but Magic Johnson himself. Even though I've been on the record and told you guys that I felt like Kawhi Leonard was not going to the Los Angeles Lakers because of the component of the LeBron James component. And the last time he was on a super team, which was the San Antonio Spurs, I know a lot of people out there think that the San Antonio Spurs are not a super team. I beg to differ. If you look at that roster top to bottom, they can compete with the Boston Celtics, with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. They can compete with and they had with the Miami Heat. They can compete with the Golden State Warriors. All right. So when you compare in their prime, they can compete, and in some of them cases, in a lot of those cases, they can win a series. So I know a lot of people don't think San Antonio Spurs are a super team. I beg to differ. Okay, but anyway, Kawhi Leonard had his filler of being on a super team. He did not like it. He did not like how it was structured, how a super team is structured. Ultimately, he didn't want to play the politic game. Ultimately, he didn't want to share the success, particularly when, particularly with the Spurs. A lot of times they won series. It had more to do with Kawhi Leonard, particularly when he locked down LeBron James, when LeBron James was a member of the Miami Heat in his prime, by the way, LeBron James. But I digress on that one as well. So here's the deal. Magic Johnson, a lot of people think that he, by him being in the way, he stopped the Lakers from getting and acquiring Kawhi Leonard by leaking a lot of information. And remember, a couple of years back, 2 years to be exact, when he was player of basketball operation, a lot of information was leaking out on who they was targeting, what they was going to do, as far Some NBA teams thought Magic Johnson was tampering with players that are, are on contract and on the team's roster. He was colluding with them. He was leaking information. There was leaks coming everywhere from the Lakers organization. And ever since he quit, you can interpret it how you want to. I feel like he quit on the Los Angeles Lakers because I felt like he knew what would have transpired if he would have stayed. There's an old adage that says, I rather leave early on something than leave too late, and now it's not even your decision no more. They're basically just showing you the way out, okay? And I felt like Magic saw the writing on the wall, particularly some of his decision making on, as far as roster and players and things of that nature, when he thought it was a great idea to pair LeBron James up with playmakers instead of shooters. And when LeBron James was paired up with shooters, they were very successful. And he paired them up with Lance Stevenson, and the list goes on and on. I'm not even going to go into all that to make this video any longer. But a lot of stuff in the Lakers organization was getting leaked out. Ever since Magic Johnson has left, it's been a quiet ship. Nothing's been leaked out other than the Kawhi Leonard, about them recruiting, trying to get Kawhi Leonard. And ever since Kawhi Leonard's uncle wanted Magic Johnson included in the negotiations, which, by the way, the NBA did not want that to happen. And they was blocking that from happening because Magic Johnson is not an employee or an employer of the Los Angeles Lakers, okay? And on a side note, a caveat to that, Magic was linked to a lot of collusion with a lot of other players, okay? So they definitely are not going to reward somebody that, A, has been in a lot of collusions with other players that are under contract with other teams, and the Lakers did not want to reward him for some fact that he quit on them. That's basically rewarding somebody of doing something like that, and it gives the league a black eye and a bad image, in my opinion, when you reward somebody for someone quitting on you. Okay, so a lot of stuff was coming out about Kawhi Leonard and about the negotiations, the quote-unquote negotiations, okay? So basically, if you've been living under a rock, the Clippers are, there's an NBA team that want to be nameless, which is the Los Angeles Lakers, that have a little sour grapes right now because they did not get Kawhi Leonard, even though I didn't feel like Kawhi Leonard was going to go there, but that's neither here nor there. Basically, they feel betrayed by Kawhi Leonard because they felt like they had an opportunity to get Kawhi Leonard, and his uncle was asking for everything under the sun that the CBA would not allow. Okay, special incentives like guaranteed sponsored deals, homes, cars, and best believe cash was in play. Not only Kawhi Leonard was going to get his contract, but they was going to broker a deal where they get some money under the table, if you know what I mean. All of this is illegal, by the way. Not law illegal, but the NBA illegal. And if it was proven to be true, a franchise can lose draft picks or the contract can be vetoed if it was that serious, okay? And I told you guys on the last live stream as well as the podcast, I don't think none of that transpired from Kawhi Leonard, his agent, his representative team. I think that was more so of the uncle who's not affiliated or represent Kawhi Leonard in a capacity of or an opportunity of him joining a team. A lot of NBA teams felt like if you take care of the uncle and if you take care of the family, Kawhi Leonard would take care of you by signing there. And I told you guys in numerous live streams as well as my podcast, this was all orchestrated by Kawhi Leonard. He was always going to choose the Clippers, and the only way this deal was not going to happen if they was unable to get Paul George. Paul George was the key factor. He wanted to play alongside Paul George more so than LeBron James, because if he play alongside LeBron James, he's the Robin to LeBron's Batman. And no matter how many conversations he had with LeBron James, no matter how many times LeBron James says, hey, look, if you come here, it's clearly your team, it still would have been LeBron James' team. He would have gotten all the credit, and if the team did not reach its expectation, Kawhi would have gotten all the blame. Okay? So he didn't want to be in no atmosphere like that, which, by the way, Kevin Durant called it toxic. Not LeBron James toxic, but that environment is toxic. Okay? So, that's why he chose the Clippers over the Lakers. Okay? It'll be his team. Paul George will be Kawhi Leonard's Batman. And he wants self-power and self-control, not the type of control where he dictates who's on the roster, who's not on the roster, but the ability to run his own team. Okay, where he can call that team his, and that's the whole reason why he chose the Clippers. Now, there's an article that's floating around that Magic Johnson leaked a lot of information out, and they're leaking that as the Lakers could have gotten Kawhi if Magic would not been in the way. But I feel like that's more damage control from the Lakers organization, from their standpoint of, look, somebody's got to take the fall for this. Somebody's going to have to lay on the sword. And really, to be truthfully honest, nobody, if you're working for the Los Angeles Lakers, you shouldn't, you shouldn't take it to that extreme, because he was never interested in the Los Angeles Lakers. Y'all chose LeBron James, okay, and the adage is still the old adage is still out there about LeBron James. Nobody wants to play for LeBron James, because LeBron James, not the player LeBron James, but everything that's associated and around LeBron James. Nobody wants to be the scapegoat. Okay, so that's what's pretty much going on with this news article. You can read it for yourself. A lot of blame pointing. And remember, Magic got on his soapbox on First Take, basically implying that the Lakers are their organization is in shambles. There's confusion with the organization, and all this BS, all this. When in actuality, when Magic was there, that's where the confusion comes from, because Magic did not want to be a full-time president of basketball operations. He wants to get in, say what he got to say, get out, let Rob Pelinka handle all the work. And at the end of the day, I said this on numerous streams, that Jeannie Buss made mistakes along the way. And when you're inexperienced, particularly as an always make mistakes like that. I felt like the first mistake she made was hiring Rob Pelinka, who was new in that capacity. Second mistake she made was hiring Magic Johnson, and the third mistake she made was giving Magic Johnson what he wanted. He wanted to do it at a part-time level. Any type of owner with a vast knowledge and experience of being an owner is not going to allow somebody to just be a part-time president of basketball operations. Come in when you want to, leave when you want to, go to whatever functions you want to. You don't have to go to all the functions if you don't want to. Talk to other players that are under contract, collusion, being fined, and things of that nature. And I feel like, the blame pie, most of it, Jeannie Buss deserves a lot of that blame, followed by Magic and Rob Pelinka. But Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson, they're inexperienced in this craft. They are inexperienced as far as running an NBA organization. And that's why the Lakers stumbled a bit. Now, they rebounded. They already got LeBron. They traded for Anthony Davis. They got that work. But they had an additional $30 million that they could have used on players that were still available. Seth Curry. Not Steph Curry. Seth Curry. They could have gotten him. JJ Redick. They could, if they didn't like that option, they can get JJ Redick. JJ Redick chose to go to the Pelicans on the simple fact that nobody at that time, the money was drying up, and that was the only team realistically that was going to give him players that the Lakers could have gotten in that free agency period in that 2-3 day span. But ultimately, they got they got some decent players like Dudley, and Rondo, they re-signed Rondo, JaVale McGee, Boogie Cousins. They got these players, but these players were more of their CBD players if they couldn't get those other players. And they had the opportunity to get those other players, but they was waiting so long on Kawhi Leonard, to make up his decision. They should have put a timeline on it. And if Kawhi Leonard didn't make up his decision in the next 12 or 24 hours, let's move on as far as rebuilding the roster and getting some more adequate players, the players that were high on their board. Okay, so that's all I gotta say, guys. Tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy. I'm Cris the Don One. I'm out. Deuce.